Every head of sales has a sentence they say right before they decide to hire more reps instead of fixing the system. Our customers are too unique for AI, too young, too old, too regulated, too high end, too relationship driven, too picky, too whatever. And I get why that sentence feels responsible. Nobody wants to be the company that rolls out a mediocre AI agent and trains their market to ignore them. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the exact moment AI goes from leverage to liability, the one behavior that gives away bad AI instantly, why out of the box tools keep creating that behavior, and what to do instead if you want to scale without building a sales army. Hi, I'm Cristian. I've helped hundreds of business owners in 14 countries increase sales over the past 25 years. We build AI automation systems for speed to lead and database revival. So here's the real question. Are your customers actually too unique for AI, or are you reacting to the fact that you've personally experienced bad AI and you're not willing to ship that embarrassment under your brand? Because everybody has experienced it. You call the bank and the voice sounds almost human, but not quite. It answers a different question than the one that you asked. Then it cheerfully asks if it's all your problem, like it just rescued a kitten from a tree. You call an airline and you end up in a loop where the system is confident, wrong, and unstoppable. You're basically arguing with a toaster that took a weekend course in customer service. Then you see it in text messages that are overly polished, weirdly formal, too symmetrical, too eager, those long dashy thingings in the middle of the sentence that you instantly know that nobody typed with their thumbs while they were walking to a meeting. Gartner published a survey saying that 64% of customers would prefer that companies did not use AI for customer service. They also found 53% would consider switching to a competitor if they found that a company was using AI for customer support. So when a head of sales hesitates, they're not being dramatic. They're trying to protect the trust for their brand. But here's the part where the story gets interesting. Customers also want speed, they want clarity, they want progress without friction. They just do not want to feel trapped in a bot maze. So customers don't hate AI the way people say they do. They hate a specific experience. They hate the experience of not being heard. They absolutely hate the experience of being processed. They hate the experience of realizing there is no exit. And that's why our customers are unique becomes a safe excuse. It sounds noble, it sounds like craftsmanship. But if we translate it into what's actually being said in meetings, it's usually this. Our process is nuanced. Our people can handle nuance. A bot will miss those little cues. If it gets it wrong, it's going to create a mess we have to clean up. And if it goes sideways, it's going to be on me. That last line is the one nobody says out loud, but it's the real one. In 2026, AI isn't scary because it's new. It's scary because it's also public. If it fails in front of customers, and customers keep receipts. Now, I'm going to ask you a meta question that decides whether AI can help you scale or make you regret being alive. What is the one behavior that instantly tells a buyer, oh, this is that mediocre AI, even if the words look fine? Hold that thought. We're going to come back to it. First, I want to make one distinction that will save you months of arguing internally. Out of the box, AI tools are designed to talk. But what you actually need is an AI system that behaves. Talking is easy, behavior is everything. Because the moment that matters isn't when the lead asks a normal question. The moment that matters is when the first time a lead says something totally messy, emotional, specific, or completely unexpected. That's where AI becomes leverage or liability. And this is why out of the box feels risky to good sales leaders. You don't control the behavior tightly enough. You're basically hoping the tool has good judgment. Hope is not a good sales strategy. It's also not a governance strategy. Salesforce has data that should make that point totally obvious. In their state of the AI connected customer research, only 42% of customers say they trust businesses to use AI ethically. That means more than half of the market is not starting from neutral, they're starting from total suspicion. So if you deploy AI in a generic high confidence way, you're not just losing a lead, you're teaching your market that you're not worth engaging with. Here's the part most people miss because they focus on sounding human. Zendesk reported that 64% of consumers are more likely to trust AI agents that embody traits like friendliness and empathy. That doesn't mean that you need AI to act like a cartoon human. It means the agent needs to behave like it's tracking what the person said, and it needs to know when to slow down, clarify, or hand off. Which brings us back to the meta question. What is the one behavior that gives away bad AI instantly? It's not the vocabulary and it's not the lack of slang. It's not whether it uses a comma correctly. Bad AI keeps going when it should have stopped. Bad AI answers when it should have asked a question. Bad AI pretends confidence when a good human would pause for one clarifying question. That's the tell. Mediocre AI is the person who responds before you finish your sentence, then keeps talking, then asks if you'd like anything else, then keeps talking again. And the reason it feels so fake is because humans don't do that when they care about getting it right. Humans ask a question, humans buy time, they check understanding, humans hand off when the topic is sensitive. So the goal is not to make AI sound human. The goal is to make AI behave like your best rep under uncertainty. Now, let me make this painfully concrete with a moment your team will totally recognize, because this is where our customers, our unique fear always shows up. The lead replies with something messy, not a clean yes or no, something that requires judgment. They say, "We're interested, but we've been burned before. I'm not getting on a phone call unless I know you actually understand our situation." Bad version. It keeps talking like inside a flowchart. "Thank you for sharing. I understand your concern. We'd love to schedule a quick call to learn more about your needs. Here is my calendar link." That response is technically fine. It's also the exact wrong behavior. It ignores the signal. It pushes forward. It asks the lead to do emotional labor and take the risk without giving anything back. It feels like a system trying to complete a task. Good version. It slows down, mirrors the fear, and earns the next step. Totally fair. Before we talk, what went wrong last time? Was it speed, follow up, the sales process, or results after you signed? One sentence is enough. Here's another one. The lead says, "Can you just tell me what discussed before we do anything else?" Bad version, it dodges or over explains. "Pricing depends on several factors. We'd be happy to discuss this on a call. Can you share more details about your needs?" Good version, it constrains, clarifies, and keeps trust intact. "I can give you a range, but I don't want to guess. Are you trying to fix speed to lead, revive old leads, or both?" Here's the point. This AI giveaway is not the tone, is the behavior. Mediocre AI ignores what the person just said and continues a script. Great AI pauses, clarifies, and hands off when it should. That's the difference between an automated system that talks and an automated system that behaves. Now, here's a nuance most people miss, and this is where the unique customer thing falls apart. Your sales team thinks that they're protecting nuance, but what they often protect is just delay. They'll say, "Only we can handle this unique customer." But then the lead waits for hours. The rep eventually sends something that still sounds templated because the rep is busy, tired, and doing triage. That's not nuance, that's latency wearing a suit. So if you want to scale without a sales army, you need two things at the same time. You need control and you need iteration. This is where custom systems actually matter. It's not because custom is fancy or luxurious. Custom gives you controls. You decide what it's allowed to do. You decide what it's not allowed to do. And most importantly, you decide what it does when it's uncertain. So you decide how it hands off to a human without making the customer repeat themselves like it's a punishment. But you also get something else that out of the box almost never gives you. You get iteration loops. You can fine tune the system until it behaves like the most effective sales or support rep you would hope for, because it's not a one and done install. It's a system that improves week after week, month after month, based on what your leads actually say, how they respond, and when the conversations actually break. Out of the box tools don't do that well because you're basically renting someone else's assumptions. You get their default tone, their default logic, their default definition of qualified, and then you wonder why it doesn't fit your business. And when a head of sales says our customers are unique, they're not wrong. They're just aiming the conclusion at the wrong place. Your customers aren't too unique for automation. Your brand is too accountable for sloppy automation. That's the distinction. So if you want a simple, practical way to evaluate any AI tool without getting lost in the feature list, here it is. Ask one question. When the agent doesn't know what to do, does it stop and clarify, or does it keep talking? If it keeps talking, do not deploy it to real leads. Not because it's not going to book any meetings. It might, but it will book the wrong kind of attention. The kind that teaches the market that you're generic and you don't care. If it stops, clarifies, and hands off cleanly, you can scale conversations without scaling headcount. And you can do it without turning your brand into the bank experience that everybody hates. And that's the real promise of AI in 2026. Not Can AI help? Well, yeah, of course it can help. The promise is scaling without becoming spammy, without losing nuance, without betting a season on your black box that you cannot control. If you run a B2B company doing $3 to $20 million a year and you're already generating leads, if you're hesitating to use AI because you refuse to ship mediocre customer interactions, I do short diagnostic sessions. We'll map the exact objections your head of sales has, the exact moments your customers are too unique, the guardrails to prevent that damage, and the iteration loops so it makes the system sharper over time and makes you feel confident. There's no demos, no pitches, just clarity. So click the link underneath this video. I would love to share with you how many more sales you can close this year.